Tonight on a new music seminar, we have singer, comedian, songwriter, piano player, everything above that pertains to entertainment. Paul Marturano.
Marturano, close enough.
Marturano. I'm going to mess it up one more time.
It's all good.
Marturano.
You can butcher it all night long. It's all good.
So we're here, here in the studio, chit-chatting with Rob and Paul. And so where are you from, Paul?
From Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Well, I grew up in Drexel Hill, but now I live in Langhorne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I guess, Rob, you're mostly going to ask him about the music, or you're going to ask him about everything?
I'm going to ask him about everything because Paul is well-versed in the entertainment world. He's not just a singer or a piano player. He's also a book author. Yeah. He's also a comedian, and, we got to definitely ask him about his time on American Idol with Paula Abdul, which made like all the news outlets and TV programs. What was it? Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah,
and
U.S. Weekly, Access Hollywood. That was
right.
that was probably 10 years ago now. So
well, still, that's like you. That's something that
what we got to do to get on Access Hollywood.
Right.
We got to grab them in there.
Right. That's like that's in your bio. So I mean, that's that's part of your history. So you'll never. That is always going to be with you.
It's there.
You know how people have that. It's almost not that you're a one-hit wonder, but you know how people are one-hit wonders and they have that one thing that they've done.
Right, that stood out.
That's they could be 50 years old. It's like that's their claim to fame. That's what people remember them by.
Perfect.
Right. So we're going to hear from them a little bit later. This is The Light on the Mighty 106.5 WPPM.
Okay, so tonight on a new music seminar, we have Paul, who we have introduced earlier. He came all the way from Langhorne.
Long drive from Langhorne to Philadelphia.
Yeah. So Paul and I are both Grammy members, and we've seen each other at various different functions and kind of been hitting and missing because, one, he is a performing artist. So it's hard to lock performing artists down. So we were fortunate enough, he's performing in Philly tonight, that we were able to get him in before his performance tonight. So how are you tonight?
Thanks. I am wonderful. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
And you wear many hats in the entertainment world.
Sure.
So tell us, how did you get started in the entertainment world?
Well, let's see. In the entertainment, I mean, I started with music. I mean, I started playing music from the time I was 5 years old. So I always did music. I would put on shows, piano shows when I was in college. In the entertainment world after college, I used to work in television. So I was down in Atlantic City. Way back when I worked on the Miss America pageant.
Okay.
And from there, I ended up in New York City. And back when Regis did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I was a contestant manager for that show. Well, I worked with all the contestants on that show for, I guess it was about 2 years, and lived in the Empire Hotel in New York City, worked 80 hours a week, and it was the number one show on TV. We won a Daytime Emmy Award. It was an exciting time.
It sounds exciting. Won the Daytime Emmy. I haven't.
Yeah, it was.
This first time I'm sitting in a room of someone who won a Daytime Emmy.
Well, I mean, I worked. I didn't.
You were on the team.
Yeah, I was on the
still,
team.
Right.
I was on the team.
But
so
you
I
got the Emmy in your home.
Well, I have
right?
I have the certificate for being on the team that won the Daytime. I don't get an actual trophy for being the contestant manager, but yeah,
right.
I mean
but still
we did that, and it was exciting. It was thrilling. And from there, when the show went into syndication, my position kind of got dissolved, and I started playing music again full time. So
okay.
I mean, the whole time from that point on, I've always just played and performed. And, I've put out several CDs over the year. I mean, back when you put out CDs. And, but now, everything's on Spotify. Everything's on Apple iTunes.
Right.
You can get there through my website, paulpiano.net. And it's great. It's just a phenomenal being in the entertainment industry in general. I've been a member of NARIS with you. I've been a voting member for a long time now. And
how many years have
voted
you?
on I think about over 15. I think I've been a voting member. So I've voted on a lot of Grammy Awards. Before I was a member, I also worked on the Grammy Awards in 1998.
Oh, okay.
Which was a great experience. So, but now within the entertainment industry, I'm more just a musician, playing music, putting out music, and having a good time. So
Okay, so I was going to ask you later in the interview.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about it now, about the Grammys, I always, especially when I have new artists come up, I always tell them about the Grammy chapter in Philadelphia, and the benefits of belonging. Can you let the listening audience know and understand the importance, and how did you become a voting member? Because there's different memberships.
yeah, well, no, it's if you're a musician and you're putting music out, and it's distributed, which you can easily do now through CD Baby or Spotify or Apple iTunes, you can become a member of the Philadelphia chapter of the Grammys. And if you have music that is publicly out, you can become a voting member and actually vote on the Grammys. And there's different events. You meet all the different people that are in the music industry. You can go to other cities and go to, the Grammy events in those cities. So it's really great for networking. I've met so many wonderful people, through NARIS. The Joe Nicolo, who produced my last album, it's called More. It's on his label, Blackbird Records, which is distributed through Universal. If I hadn't been a member of NARIS, I probably wouldn't have ended up connected with him. So
And tell people who, people don't know the behind the scenes people, but tell them who he is so people understand the level.
Oh, sure. Joe was, he was big. Well, actually, if you want to know who Joe Nicolo is, go to the Kimmel Center, look down at your feet, and he has a brick on the Philly Walk of Fame. He's produced several different artists. He's worked with, people like Billy Joel, the Fugees, a lot of big names that you would know. So,
right, because he was one.
You should just Google him.
Right, he was at Rough House when they brought the Fugees over.
Yeah.
No one else would sign the Fugees, but Rough House Records and Conshohocken, PA, signed the Fugees, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Who is that? Barry Goldberg's.
But thank you for enlightening people about the Grammys. Last week we had Ivan Braris up here, who was our former president, and now he's a governor and trustee. And
just an excellent human being.
Yes.
I love talking to him.
Yes. So back to the entertainment side.
Sure.
The concept you talk about, you do these dueling pianos.
Sure.
And I always wondered, I've seen it, but give me a description of the concept of dueling pianos.
All right, so dueling pianos, and the reason I do it is because, first of all, it's fun. It's really laid back, and basically it's two piano players. We're having a good time, and people come up and make requests and play their songs. We goof around with them. We make me personally, I make lots of filthy jokes because I love dirty comedy. But, it's putting on a fun show, having a good time with people. Everyone sings along, making people smile. And I enjoy doing those shows. I'm not really playing my original music so much, but, I've been doing these shows for a long time, and I do them every weekend. Tonight, if you're in Philly right now, about 8:30, go to 110 Chestnut Street, Jolly's Dueling Piano Bar. Come upstairs and make some requests. We'll have some fun. Come say hi to me. We do these shows in Atlantic City. We do them up in the New York area all the way down to Virginia. So there's probably about 9 different players that I play with pretty regularly. And my agent, Shore Bets Entertainment, they book our dueling piano shows.
Okay.
And we'll pretty much go anywhere and do it.
Okay.
So it's a good time.
So besides the dueling pianos, just you as a singer and performer. What stages have you performed on, and who have you worked with on this?
Okay.
You know,
I think that the coolest thing that ever happened, I would have to say, when I was working on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I lived in the Empire Hotel, and every Monday night, Les Paul played at the Iridium Jazz Club underneath the Empire Hotel.
Wow.
And I would go down there once in a while and see his show, and I actually, Paul McCartney had come to see him, and I missed him by 1 week because I was there the next week. And but I got a chance to go up on stage and play. I saw her standing there with Les Paul.
Wow, that's
which
amazing.
was absolutely probably one of the coolest moments, and just what a wonderful person Les Paul was. When I heard about him passing a while back, it was definitely hard, but just an amazing person. So that was neat. But I've been on so many stages. I mean, I play a lot in Atlantic City. I play a lot in Philadelphia. Trying to think of other, what was really cool. About a summer or two ago in Atlantic City, we were doing piano shows, and in walks Vinny Lopez from the E Street Band.
Oh, okay.
And he was hanging out with us, and he's like, tomorrow night when I'm done my show, he was playing in a different room down at the playground in Atlantic City. He says, I'm going to bring in my snare, jam with you guys. And we were like, oh, well, that would be cool. Mm-hmm. And the next night, there he is with his snare, walks in, played a bunch of Springsteen songs with him. Nicest guy you could ever meet. So it's cool. I really I got to meet a lot of
hanging out with legends.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm hanging out.
Right.
I jammed it. There's videos on YouTube of that. It's just, just unbelievable stuff.
We might have to get your autograph.
So
I wish I wish we had like a wall that we could have people who have come and autograph the wall.
Well, I'll just write all over your walls before I go. You can see if you get in trouble.
Yeah, we might have to start something like that, like bring a scroll or something.
Yeah.
Poster or something.
All right.
Paul was here.
Cool. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I ever make it that big. But
well, no. I mean, you're saying
right.
Make it that big. I mean, you've done a lot of things already.
I did. I had my 15 minutes of fame.
Right. And right after the station identification, we're going to talk about that big 15 minutes of fame. But if you're listening, this is WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia. So this is the New Music Seminar, and you're listening to Raymond Tyler on The Light. Comes on every Friday night from 6 to 8. So, back to the New Music Seminar. So, tell us about your 15 minutes of fame and how did that all get started, and what we're talking about to our listening audience. If you don't know about Paul's background, he was on American Idol, and he had a obsession with a particular person.
Yeah, well, it was a fake obsession. It was really what I called back then a marketing plan. I mean, back if you remember American Idol, it was back in, I think it was 2008. I did this. Simon Cowell, Paul Abdul, and Randy Jackson were the judges on American Idol.
The
original judges on American Idol. So, I always, as a musician, I always thought it's kind of nice. They get some kid up there that can sing really well, and they get him a career and everything, and and it's nice. I mean, some really good people have come out of that show.
Right.
So I was already, I think, past the age limit for the show. So I thought, I'm going to go on and do something goofy, because I had, a website. I had my music up on iTunes. There wasn't really streaming then, but you could download songs, and I had, music out on CD Baby. And I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to do something crazy. So I had this goofy comedy song, it was completely ridiculous about, and it was called Stalker. So what I did was I went on there. I had a goofy costume, and I was going to, I said, oh, I want to wear this crazy costume and sing this song, Paul Abdul, and I sang a bit of it, and they thought it was hilarious. So I made it through about 20,000 people, and they said, okay, we're going to put you in front of the judges, and but we don't want you to wear the crazy costume. We want you to just go in and be serious and sing this song to her. So I was like, okay. so I went in, and complete ridiculous song. To give you an idea of one of the crazy lyrics in it, the really funny one was, if she were a bathtub, I would caulk her. If I were Columbo, I'd Peter Falk her. So it's just this ridiculous song, and they play it off real well and have security take me out. But the nice thing was they ended up airing that in front of 33 million people. Landed me on like Access Hollywood. It got me a lot of attention, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do because I had a website and music to sell.
Right.
So as soon as everything hit, I probably did about 400 morning radio show interviews across the country, and I got to throw my website out there. I got to, and I did really well. I did really well for the time. If that happened today, and I got in front of 33 million people, and being on things like Spotify and Apple Music now, and you just get followed on there and people listen to your music, that would have been it. I'd be retired.
Yeah, and I would have had to gone through your PR and your manager and everybody trying to get you on this station.
Right. But no, I mean, back then when I did that, there was like MySpace.
Right.
So, but it was a good time, and it was actually, it was actually something that worked. It worked. I got to do some different TV shows, and I had fun.
Right.
So
that's cool. So growing up, what entertainers influenced you?
Oh, well, it's funny that when I was, I guess my first experience with music, I was about probably between the ages of 3 and 5, and I had like a little kiddie record player, but instead of like kiddie music, I had Beatles 45s. So I'd be listening to like Hey Jude. I still remember, I had the 45 for Hey Jude, and it was the green apple was Hey Jude, and the white apple was Revolution. So, I started listening to the Beatles, when we eventually, I think I was about 8, and we got a stereo, and I had like Sgt. Pepper. Yeah, well, I mean, they were all my older brother's albums, but I would listen to Sgt. Pepper, Thriller, and then Billy Joel, of course. Since I was a piano player, I listened to a ton of Billy Joel and Elton John, and I play all those songs now. People come up and request them in the piano bar, and we have a great time. We just, play and sing.
Now, as a piano player, were you self-taught, or did you given lessons?
Okay, so I actually started playing piano when I was I used to go play with it when I was about 3. It was sitting in my living room, and I would go and pick things out. When I was 5 years old, I played Mary Had a Little Lamb from my kindergarten class, and it was fun. Oh. I was like, ooh, I play the piano, and all these people are like, yay. So, so it was there, and I had like a natural ear. Like I can hear something, and I can pick it out, and I can sing it. So I did take, lessons from the time I was about 6 till, time I was about 13. Then I think I took them again in high school. And I was never really like a good sight reader or anything. I always, I feel like there's different types of musician. There's a musician that you could put music in front of, and they can just look at it and just play it, and it's beautiful. And then there's, other musicians that they can hear something and they can sit down and just play it. And I can hear something to sit down. And the people that are absolutely amazing can do both.
Right.
So that's kind of how that started. And I always just, my whole life just always.
Now, is that the only instrument you know how to play?
I play guitar too. I play a little harmonica. I'm usually I can usually,
Pick
most
up anything.
instruments I can kind of, probably mess around with. So
Okay, so let's switch hats of your entertainment side. You're also an author.
Sure.
Tell us about your book, 33 Beliefs for a Happy Life.
Yeah. Well, this is I'm the youngest of 11 children. So
Okay.
so I have 28 nieces and nephews, and at this point in my life, 30-something great nieces and nephews. I've lost track. There's so many. I mean, I know them all, but I don't know the
that's
number
funny.
off the top of my head.
That's a big family reunion, definitely.
Yeah. So it is. So, a couple of years ago, I just decided just everything that I'm a very positive guy. I'm an optimist. I like to see the bright side of things. I like to try and pick people up when they're down. I mean, whether it's with music or just talking to them. So I decided I was just going to kind of put everything I learned. I've always done, like all the Tony Robbins, all those different self-improvement programs, and just ever since I was in my 20s. So I decided, look, I'm going to take everything I learned related to my own life and just put it in a nice little book so that I can give it to my family.
Right.
And that was the whole plan of that.
Okay.
And I did, and it was wonderful. So it's a great book. You should definitely go to paulpiano.net and check it out. It's also audiobook. It's on Spotify and iTunes. And if you're feeling down and you need a little lift, something to brighten your spirits, it'll do it.
Okay.
It'll do it.
So besides the show tonight at Jolly's, what upcoming shows do you have?
Let's see. Next week I am at Cove Haven in the Poconos on Friday, and then Saturday is a private gig in York, Pennsylvania. I am back at Jolly's, I think, every Saturday in February, and I have some. What do I have in February? On Fridays in February. Oh, I'm also doing a Valentine's Day show at Jolly's in February, which should be fun. And it's more of a if you're single, you want to come to this show kind of thing.
Right.
It's gonna be fun. And again, it's gonna be filled with dirty comedy. So
So mention your website again, and then any
sure.
social media platforms you're on.
I'm on Facebook. Definitely contact me on Facebook if you're listening. Say hi. I'll respond to you.
Give your your name or what's your
Paul Marturano. It's Marturano. You can also just go to paulpiano.net and you can get me on Facebook there. You can get me on Spotify there. Twitter I have, but I don't really use that much anymore. But, Apple iTunes, and you can hear my original music. I have about, I think, 3 or 4 albums out. They're all on Spotify and iTunes. And the latest one is called More. That was produced by Joe Nicolo. It's on Blackbird Universal, and you can check it out definitely on Spotify and iTunes. Right at paulpiano.net. If you go there, everything is there.
Okay. So before we play Love People, Use Things, which is from your latest album, you have any advice for anyone just trying to, any new artist trying to start out in the business?
Yeah. Network as much as possible. Perform as much as possible. This is the thing. I mean, a lot of people love to sing. They love to, and they think, it seems this next generation thinks, I sing a little bit, I get on a show, and I make it big. Yeah. And I mean, you can do that. That does happen. But like, if you learn to play your instrument, learn your craft, and get on stage as much as possible, perform as much as possible, have fun with people, play your music for people, just keep doing it. And I love my life right now because every weekend I'm out and I'm having fun performing music. And I get to meet so many different wonderful people doing it. So it's a good life. It's a good life. And, when it comes to my songwriting in this album, I've been writing songs since I was 10 years old. The song Love People Use Things is what I consider probably the best song I've ever written. It was for my mother. My mother was diabetic and she was not doing well, and I wrote the music for this song before she passed away, and I kind of finished it, the lyrics, after she passed. But it's really about her. She raised 11 children, and she was just a very selfless person. And that's kind of what this song is about.
Okay. Well, thank you again for stopping by, and I hope our listening audience follows you and comes out to your shows, and you're definitely more than welcome to come back up and visit us.
Thank you. I'll be here every week. No, not every week, but thank you so much.
Anytime.
I was only 5 years old when my mother said to me, "There's one thing you should know, and it will set you free. Love people, use things, and your life won't let you down. Love people, use things, not the other way around. The best way to end up alone, the best way to end up alone, is to get these things confused. The best way to end up alone, it's the best way to end up alone, 'cause no one wants to be used. And the things you love, they can't love you. Love people, use things, and your life won't let you down. Love people, use things, not the other way around. The best way to end up alone, the best way to end up alone, is to get these things confused. The best way to end up alone, it's the best way to end up alone, 'cause no one wants to be used. And the things you love, they can't love you. And sometimes we forget, and we don't know what we're thinking of. And all those people that you've used, it's not too late to love.